This episode is sponsored in part by PTZ Optics. Why hire a camera operator when the control is in your hands? Visit ptzoptics.com for more information. And by NewTek, makers of the TriCaster TC1. Stun your viewers, not your accountant. Visit newtek.com for more information.
Hey guys, we are here for another Stories from the Cabin with No Boundaries Outdoors, and today we're going to talk, well, we got a bunch of things we're going to talk about today, including our last minute, we had, 15 seconds to spare?
About that.
It was a little nerve-wracking, but thanks to the folks, John over at Live to Air and NeuralNet, he's the one that does the product that I use to get these guys on. They did some huge upgrades, so the video is now looking phenomenal, and we couldn't get audio. They could hear each other, but I couldn't hear them. So kudos to the guys over there. John got right on it, wrote it in, took care of me. So if you guys want to do a show like this, check it out, Live to Air. Braden, Jake, what's up, guys? What's going on this week?
Living the dream.
Yeah, not much.
Just cold Pennsylvania weather.
Getting sick there. Yeah, you might have to get up on that mic there, Braden. Pennsylvania weather?
Yeah, the swamp weather. It rains like it's 80 degrees, and then decided to just downpour and
Did you guys
soak
get
everything.
Did you guys get massive storms yesterday or today? Because my brother was telling me that there was a possibility.
No, I didn't get anything. I mean, like I said, the rain was all I got.
Yeah, we didn't get anything either, just some wind.
You got some wind, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. We didn't get that. We were able to escape that. But I was telling the guys in pre-show, I was like, so today was kind of an interesting day because it was the first day that I mowed, but I only could do the front lawn and a little bit on the side because the back is really swampy and it doesn't grow that. I might not hit that till mid-May. But the front, I mean, you get that crabgrass that comes up and it looks like little bushes growing up out of the yard, right? Like above your normal grass. So it was funny. So my wife wanted it, decent for Easter because we're having some folks over, family on Sunday. And I'm like, the only day I got, my daughter has a competition today, so she's there at the competition. So I was like, all right, I got 3 hours. So I went out, mowed a little bit, and then I wanted to change the oil in it like I do every year. So I let it cool down while I weed whacked and everything like that and got it all situated. And then I don't know if it was because our shed doors are like rotted. The people that were here before us didn't take care of it. So when I was trying to adjust the door because it gets stuck in the mud, it ripped it off the hinges at the bottom. So I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I had to take the hinge off, move it up a little bit on the door, and re-screw it in just so I could get this dang thing closed. So I was doing that, and then we came in here and we didn't have audio, which I should have tested earlier today, but again, slammed. So what about you? You said you had something interesting happen.
Yeah, so I decided since I'm working from home more and we're doing this show that I'll upgrade to Fios gigabit internet. So this call scheduled and the tech came out and showing him around where the box is and everything. And then he goes, all right, well, let's go take a look in the basement. And I went, oh boy. I was like, so I opened the door and I'm like, so I just want to let you know, there's 3 goats down here. He's like, what? I was like, we have 3 goats in the basement. They're in a pen. He goes, all right, you don't see that every day. And he walks down and sure enough, the goats are going crazy and everything. He walks over, looks at them, and he goes, okay. And then just went about his work. So I was like, huh. Then he went and told all his friends, yo, I just went to this crazy house. They had 3 goats in their basement. I don't know what's going on out there.
He's probably calling.
There's some weird people, but yeah, it's not a normal day for me.
He was probably calling, what is that, animal control or something.
Yeah.
I see you've changed your setup a little bit there, Mr. Braden.
I went to a different room this week.
Different room. He's in a little bit of a I still think you need to get that mic a little bit closer. I think that it's sort of picking you up. I know you don't really want to put it in the frame, but it's one of those mics you got to talk into, unfortunately.
Yeah.
and you're soft spoken too. So, you had something interesting happen to you this week, right?
Yeah, so we put in, me and my three buddies, we put in for Montana again this year. We drew last year, went out, hunted, killed some mule deer. Put in again for this year, not thinking that we would draw 2 years in a row, but check the website today, so we were successful. So we're heading back out to Montana for 2022. Hopefully get an elk this year.
And what he's not telling you is the other part of the story is because he's going to Montana again, what do you have to do?
I gotta buy a new gun, obviously. I mean, I don't need one. I can take the one that I've used for years, but I think it's time for an upgrade.
Nobody needs a new gun, right? Just like we don't need a
Yeah.
new bow. And I know that's what we're talking about today is bow setups, but we're talking about a lot of things today. But is it true? Because I'm not a big rifle hunter. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm better with a bow, even at distance, 70, 80 yards. I'll put it in there. You know, I'll have like a, $50 size group at 80 yards. So with a bow. Now, so I would love to go out west and shoot like a mule deer or something like that, or an elk. That's at that distance. But is it the same thing? Like, because when the new bows come out, you want the newer technology. Is it the same thing with a gun? Like when you're a gun hunter, you guys kind of get that urge, or?
Yeah, I mean, every company comes out with something new every year. So basically, I'm using a Ruger M77 that I take out west. It's a 280. It's an all-around good gun. I mean, it's a fast, flat shooting gun. So it's good. It's good for whitetail. It's good for just basically anything. But Christensen Arms, I've had my eyes on them for a while, and they came out with a gun that's a carbon wrap barrel, so it makes it a little bit lighter weight, and they're pretty fast shooting. So I think I'm gonna go for probably like a 300 Win Mag or like a 300 PRC, and get that carbon wrap barrel and see what we can do.
So Braden says he sends a text to his mom, to his wife, right? And he goes,
Yep.
So we drew some tags for Montana. He goes, you know what that means, don't you? And she goes, you got to buy a new gun.
Yep. That's exactly right.
That's pretty funny. I don't know what my wife would say. Like usually, if I say I'm getting a new bow or I want to get a new bow, she's like, okay, Jake, you don't buy new guns or a new bow, you get more goats.
Yeah. I think the last gun I bought was, I don't even know, because usually there's a gun auction near our house that we go to, and now the prices of guns went skyrocket. But the one auction, I mean, you used to be able to get a decently used shotgun for like $170 at this auction, and now that same gun's going for like 300 used, and I was like, yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, I don't really buy new guns. It's my wife's looking at another paint donkey that she wants to get, and I'm just over here just like, okay, so I spend my money, my time to go get this donkey, for you to look at it, and for me to feed it, water it, and everything else.
It's like a plant.
Okay. Yeah, well, she has no green thumb. She'd kill it, so.
It's like my wife. I mean, she can handle the cats because the cats pretty much take care of themselves. But a good thing she's not on the show today. In fact, next week, she will be back on the show because her book club thing is done tonight. Well, she couldn't go to the last one because she had to go to my daughter's track meet. So she'll be back next week, probably contradicting everything I'm saying and being like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that.
Yep.
So, what about fishing? You guys get out and doing any fishing this week?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Oh, my
Well,
goodness.
I lied. I did end up going out for a couple hours Tuesday night. Maybe it was even Monday night. I think it might have been Monday. The spot I went to, normally good fishing. Fished there for a couple hours. It was a little windy, so my line was going everywhere, but didn't catch anything. And around where I was fishing, my buddy goes up. They do like turkey shoots every Sunday at this club right next to it. So I told him, I'm like, yeah, I went fishing last night. Blah blah blah. He's like, did you catch anything? I'm like, no. I'm like, how'd you know? He's like, well, whenever I was up there, they had the skid loader in the water and they were cleaning the creek out. What?
And he didn't
He's
think
like,
that was
yeah.
relevant to tell you before you went?
Well, he didn't know that I was going, so
No, but to say, like, if you're thinking about going fishing, like,
Don't go here.
don't go there because
Yeah.
they're in there with a skid
I'm just
loader,
like-
you know.
I mean, they were doing it for a good reason. They're holding like a youth fishing rodeo there, so they want to get all the blowdowns in the creek and whatnot cleaned out so the kids don't have any trouble. But I didn't know that, so the skid loader was up and forth, back and forth down through the creek. But I scared all the fish into the next county in the river, and here I was for 2 hours thinking, I'm like, man, I've tried everything and I can't catch anything right now. Made total sense after he told me that, but at the time I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm done.
And he's out there taking, and he has been. You got that new camera you talked about a couple weeks ago when we talked about the cameras.
You know?
But you've been taking some really good pictures, and I'm going to pimp your Instagram right now. If you guys go over to Instagram.com/Braden07, he got 2 really nice pictures. Jake, I'm sure you saw them with the fox. He found the
Yeah,
den.
that was awesome.
Yeah, I've been.
How long did you have to
waiting
sit
get
there
those
for?
So I've been going up basically every night, and I haven't seen them. And actually, I was just driving home the one night. I had my wife and the boy, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna run up and see. And I parked, and I'm walking down, and my wife starts like yelling. She's like, "There they go! There they go!" And a couple of them ran out through the woods, and I'm like, well, I'll just stay here because they're not going to go far away from their den as young as they are. I sat there for probably 10 minutes, and here they came right back toward me. So I got a couple good shots, and I mean, they were heading close to me. Like, they would have walked right up to me, and I could have got some really incredible pictures. But about that time, my son felt the need to start crying and whine, and they heard him, and they took off. So I was like, well, I got a couple pictures at least, but I would have liked to get some video of them scurrying on the logs and whatnot. But there's always another time. That's where they're living. There's like 6 or 7 of them living there, so I know they'll be there for a little while yet till they can get out on their own.
So instead of fishing and going out, getting ready for turkey hunting, he's out taking pictures.
Oh yeah, I'm snapping shots.
That's okay.
Right
That's all
around
right.
Love
snap
turkey.
shots.
Of turkeys, though. I saw the ones that you posted the other day where you had another flock out there, it looked like.
Yeah, so I took those pictures actually going to the spot to go fishing, so it worked out. And that was a double whammy there.
My
Even-
buddy
even
Mark.
though I didn't catch any fish.
My buddy Mark is talking about going and helping me out. My mother-in-law has a lot of turkeys over there, so I might go over there and try to shoot one over there. But I actually ended up going out last night. I was telling these guys, and I got 3 last night. I got that one on the top there. He's about 13. The other ones are like 11 and 12. They're not, anything
Yeah,
to
that
ride home
Dalton
about.
looks pretty.
Yeah, but he was pretty.
Yeah.
He was pretty decent. You can see. I think the bottom of the bucket is like 10 inches. So if that's a reference for you guys,
Okay.
it's a gallon.
Curls
It's a
a little, yeah.
it's a 5-gallon bucket, but the 11-inch one kind of goes up the side a little bit. He might have been 11 and a half. Again, just like the 13 might have been a 13 and a half. I didn't really sit there with a tape measure, but
Right.
but they were all different sizes. But you know what? They still go in the freezer and they still taste good. So
Yep. That's
um,
all that matters.
So I got those. Well, what happened was yesterday, we were getting some rain. Like, we've been getting a lot of rain out here. That's part of the whole thing with mowing the grass. It's like you got a big swamp out there, and so I had been trying to figure out if I could get out, and go there because the lake isn't too far. It's about 20 minutes away. It was easier when I lived in Sharon. But the hard part was, dodging the rain. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up. They're saying it's going to clear up in the next 20 minutes. It ended up being 45 minutes. But I'll tell you, as soon as I threw my line in the water, I got one. Like, it was like 20 seconds later. It like hit it, slammed it. Then I sat there for an hour because the rain stopped and then the sun started coming out. and then I got the other 2 probably each hour, and then by 7 o'clock, more rain was coming into the area. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going home. I'm not gonna get stuck. The wind was picking up. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna try to carry all this stuff back to the truck. So
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it, right? So
Yeah, the weather here Saturday's looking pretty decent, so I'll probably get up early Saturday morning, get a couple hours of fishing in, hopefully catch some trout.
yeah, I'm probably tomorrow because I'm off tomorrow and I'm off Monday. I'm probably gonna go fishing Monday. I want to try to hit the creek yet. I got new waders and I still haven't used them yet. But my buddy Floyd wants to go shoot tomorrow morning, so we might go 3D shoot in the morning. Again, I got to keep that repetition going. And have you guys picked up the bow since the end of the season? Have we gotten that far?
Yeah,
I picked it up today.
What, to take a picture of it to send to me?
Yeah, I just picked it
Oh,
up
there
another
it
time
is.
too.
There he goes. He's picking it up.
again.
Yep. So it's
Have you
feels good in the hand.
Have you shot it?
No,
No.
no. I need to actually set up because where I was shooting, it's where the fence is going. So I need to find a new spot that not shooting towards my neighbor's house to set my target up. But I'll probably come when it gets a little warmer out. I'll probably go and start shooting and see what happens. I think last year, I think I shot. Opening day was like the 8th or whatever, the 19th or whatever, and I think I picked it up like the 15th
Oh,
and
man.
shot a group.
Oh, man.
And
That's
20,
brutal.
30, 40 shot a group, and I was like, okay. I mean, I'm within like
Go.
an inch of each other. I was like, yeah, that's good enough for now. I was so busy with trying to do the deck and everything else. I was like, I mean, at least I know I'm there to shoot, but I know it's not the way you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to.
I can't do that. I started a month before this last season, and I didn't feel confident at 30 yards.
Not really.
I just couldn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, once the weather breaks, I normally try to get some reps in every evening. I mean, I enjoy shooting, so it's something to pass time by, and always keeps you mid-season form.
Well, the Bowtech that we use over at Golden Grain, Dan, he says shoot 12 arrows a day, just to keep the form, keep repetition. I mean, don't go out there just fling arrows like my son does. Like, but it's good repetition. It's good, it's good for your arm. And my brother and them just came out this weekend. Him and his wife, and I had set him up with my old Triax, the first one that I have, because I still have my second Triax as my backup bow. So I had gotten him set up, and then his wife ended up getting Matthew's Mission because she couldn't get her draw length was too short, so she couldn't use the Hoyt charger. So it ended up working good. But we're going to continue this story here in a little bit when we come back after this short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Apex Gear, known for their performance-driven archery sights and accessories, is pleased to introduce the new Covert Series archery sight. VersaPin technology allows shooters to change the pin color and pin size on demand in an instant. The compact and lightweight sight is equipped with stainless steel hardware, micro-adjustable windage and elevation, an ultra-smooth, easy one-hand adjustment knob for quick yardage changes, and a micro-push button light. The new Covert Series from Apex Gear.
Confidence is key, and when bow hunting, confidence can be defined by one word: accuracy. Introducing the Thorn Expandable Broadhead. Its patented hidden blade technology guarantees field point accuracy, and the patented rip tip grabs at hide and flesh, ensuring deployment and beginning the process of devastation. Its stainless steel blades render up to a massive 2.2-inch cut. For confidence and accuracy, there is only one choice: Thorn Broadheads, the world's most accurate broadhead.
Yeah, we want to thank those companies. And we're going to try to get those companies on in the future. If you missed it, we had Roy from Thorn Archery. He was on a couple of weeks ago. If you missed that episode, go back and listen to it. Go back and watch it. He had a lot of really good insight. So anyway, my brother, he had been pulling back 55 pounds with the Charger, which was my original bow a long time ago. and I told him, I said, you're probably going to have to dial it back, probably because he was at 55 pounds. I'm like, you're probably going to have to dial that back to about 40, 45 pounds. He's like, no, no, no. I'm like, no, no, seriously. I said, because I don't know if you guys have shot Matthews bows. I mean, they're really smooth till you get to that rollover on the cam.
Yep.
And then you got to muscle it over the cam. And that's where he got to. And I said, it's not like a Hoyt. A Hoyt, you have a really hard back wall, and it's hard all the way back until you're back. Once you're back, you can hold it all day long. Where the Matthews, it's easy till you get to the rollover point, the breaking point, and then you got to pull it the rest of the way, and that, you know. So he ended up having to back it down. But I said, you know what, in a month or two, you know, you'll be back to, you know, maybe even in a couple of weeks, you'll be back to, you know, you want to get that. You don't want to be jerking that in the tree.
Yeah,
absolutely.
On that rollover point on that. And his wife, you know, we're working on some form with her and such. So I'm hoping that they're ready, but I like the fact that they're not just holding the bow like this guy here, that they're actually going out and shooting it for that.
My biggest thing is that I've shot so many times, like maybe it's just my 20-yard pin, but sometimes like I shoot and I'm just hitting other, like not like Robin Hood, but hitting other arrows, knocking fletchings off and stuff, and I just get so irritated that I'm just like, I hate wasting arrows. I mean, I'm shooting the Quakes here, and I mean they're what, 12, 15 bucks an arrow plus a lighted knock. So I'm like trying to waste all that money to shoot. It's just.
But wait a second, am I the only one? Like, okay, a target has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different spots that you could shoot. If you're Robin Hooding arrows,
I didn't say Robin Hooding. I'm just hitting fletchings.
Okay, if you're hitting fletchings, one would think.
I never shoot the same target.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be different if you're in a league and you're trying to get it in there because you need the points. But at home, come on, man.
It's just like, it's the consistency. Like, I'd rather aim for the middle every time, knowing that how far I'm off. Where I feel like if I aim to either side, it throws me off, and I don't know why. But it's just like my brain is just
because you need to practice.
Aim for the center. Aim for the center every time, and that's my.
If I'm trying to tune my bow, then yeah, I try to group to see how tight they are to make sure everything's tuned properly. But once I have it dialed in there, yeah, if I have a target here and a target here, I'm shooting at each one of them because I'm not taking the chance.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, you're gonna Robin Hood arrows if your bow's dialed in because you're gonna.
Right.
If you're like, when we shoot league, like Floyd, I always follow his shots. That's how I learned. Where he'll put it in there, I'll smack right up against it. Like, I'll purposely put it right next to it. You know, I've Robin Hooded a few of his, but not on purpose. But you know,
Right.
I've learned to kind of just slip it in there where they'll slap and you'll hear it. And
it gives you that focal point.
Yeah, exactly. So we did that in the leagues. We ended up getting second, but I kind of lost a little bit of that over the last 2 years. I don't know. I kind of didn't do a lot with the outdoors the last 2 years. I know, Braden, you kind of were doing a lot here with No Boundaries and kind of keeping things going. I just got burned. Like, I just felt like everything we were doing, we were getting burned by everybody, like people that were trying to help us and that we thought were trying to help us, right?
Right.
And I was just like, man, if this is what it's about, I don't want no part of it. I'll just kind of do this at my own pace, and you know, it really took a toll. It really did. And so during that 2 years, I wasn't putting the time in with the bow. I was not out there. I wasn't as good as I was 2 years ago. And I'm slowly gaining that back, but it's weird how that works. It's weird how when you're shooting like that and then you don't shoot for a while, like, I don't know how, Jake, you're able to go out there, and kudos to you. You've been shooting probably years longer than I have, but I can't do that, man. I gotta keep the reps up and keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, I've had this bow for 7 or 8 years now. So I know how it shoots. I know pretty much everything about it. So I feel like that's why I'm more confident in it, where I can just pick it up and I know where I'm hitting. I'm looking to get a newer bow because it's the Bear Attitude, which is an older bow, but If I would get a new one, then I would probably have to practice more to get more comfortable with the way it holds. Like you said, the break and rollover point. Like I know exactly when I get so far back, it's gonna ease up a little bit to carry the rest of the weight back. So
I guess
Yeah.
this is yours here, right?
yep.
Yeah, the Bear. So walk us through this while we have this pulled up, because that's a lot of what we're talking about today is the bow setups. I'm gonna try to, while you're talking about it, I'm gonna try to beef it up a little bit, try to get it zoomed in
Yep.
a little bit more if
So-
I can.
As you can see there, I'm running the Apex sight. I don't know if you can zoom in, but it's the 4-pin.
Here, I'll just come over to you full screen because you already
Yep.
have your bow there. I can't do that and produce and have my bow
Yep.
here, so I didn't.
So the 4-pin Apex sight. I don't know if you see on there, but my top two here, that's 20 and 30. And they're pretty much stacked right on top of each other. So it's kind of hard to get past that, but I have done 40 before. I have the Apex quiver, the 5-arrow quiver, and then I also have the drop away from Apex. So pretty much all Apexed out. They make a great product.
How do you like that drop away? Because a lot of people were saying it was noisy. Did you have any problems with that?
So sometimes, especially when I release, there's definitely a more solid, like a thud to it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because when it gets warmer, it sounds more, more defined. It's also my first drop away, so I really don't have much to compare it to. But yeah, I mean, it definitely has more of a thud when it lets go. So I mean, there's that, and then I have the Tacticam stabilizer for my camera on it.
And what about that? Because that, to me, I have it too. I have two of them. I have
Yeah.
two of the metal stabilized parts because I lost the thumb screw with it, and they wouldn't send it to
Mhm.
me, so I had to buy a whole nother one, and then I didn't end up using it anyways. But it rattles like every time you let a shot go. Like I even put metal bushings, rubber bushings between the screw where it screws into your bow, but then it also rattles inside of the camera, rattles inside of the metal housing. They almost should have
Yeah.
wrapped some kind of rubber inside or some kind
Like
of
a felt or something.
yeah. I actually
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
about putting that.
I don't even know if I've noticed that before.
Yeah, what's that stuff that you spray on your tires that you can peel it off? Like if you want to
Flex
change the
Seal?
color. Yeah, Flex. Is it Flex
Plasti
Seal?
Or
Oh,
Plasti
Plasti Dip. Plasti Dip. Yeah, I thought about putting a couple coats of that on the inside, just to soften it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's not. I don't know. Mine's not rattling around now.
no, usually you hear it when
Yeah,
you
it does
when you shoot it. Yeah, you hear
Oh,
it's like
Yeah,
a
the
ting-
vibration of the bow.
Well, and that's why I asked about the drop away too, because Cody, my buddy, he's part of No Boundaries Outdoors. He has also the drop away, and when he was shooting, it did have it was loud compared to like a QAD or
Yeah,
Other
whenever
rests.
I had that Apex drop away, and like it was nice. I mean, it worked flawless. It shot down whenever it shot down really quick, but like you said, it was pretty noisy on the flap down. And then one thing I did notice, the centerpiece that goes in between the prong, like that plastic
yeah,
insert,
yeah.
mine was starting to wear down really bad. So
Really,
yeah,
like the plastic didn't hold up from the arrow sliding through it, or do you think it was a
Yeah,
timing issue?
I think it was just from the arrows, just because I mean those couple years I did shoot a lot.
Okay.
So I think it was just wearing out from me shooting so much.
So did
But
you
they
switch?
they sent you other inserts there. They sent you a couple of them, but no, by that time I was getting my new Elite. So I was like, you know what, I'm getting my new Elite. I'm just gonna go back to what I like, what I trust. So I went back to QAD. But other than that, I mean, I like the Apex gear drop away. It was built pretty good. So, but like you said, it was just a little bit too noisy for my liking.
So other than that, Jake, what else? I mean, that's what you have there. That's what you're outfitted in. What you're shooting?
Yep, well, that's pretty much what I'm shooting. And then, I mean, arrow wise, it's the Element Quakes, the 200 spline, the lighted Nox. So I mean, it's like I said, I'm not the best trick shooter or the best elite shooter, but I mean,
Yeah,
for my setup and for
it
what I
works.
can afford, it does the job. So
Yeah, it works. I mean,
I
that's
mean,
the
I've
main thing.
been looking at the QAD dropaways and stuff, but um, it's just the 150. Like I feel like if I get a new bow, it'd push me more towards kind of outfitting it with better stuff. Like I said, this one's an entry level bow, so that's kind of what like it's a mix match kind of thing. So if I get a better bow, I'll probably get a better like a QAD rest or something to hold it in. I was using a Whisker Biscuit for a while, and then I switched to the drop away. I definitely like the drop away style more than the biscuit, but I don't know.
Whisker Biscuit's too hard to get any kind of consistency,
Yeah, I mean that's
Never
also
shot
what.
one.
and it slows your arrow down.
Yeah,
Like my son has one on, but that like our archery shop, they usually start people out that are new to archery. That's what they start them out with a Whisker Biscuit, and move them to a drop away. So I don't know. The only thing I didn't like, and it didn't last long with my bow setup when I started, was that stupid peep hose. That
Yeah.
ripped after like a couple
Yeah,
weeks,
they
and I'm
always
like,
dry rotted.
yeah, I'm like, get rid of that stupid thing. I don't even want it on there.
Yeah.
Slows your bow down. No. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah,
That's another thing I'd be interested to see what you guys use for peep sights. Like if there's certain ones that you guys use. Mine's just a generic one from the bow shop, but
that's how
you know,
mine
there's
is. Yeah.
I know some companies have like a special designed one and everything else. I don't know if you guys go that far with your bows or not.
I've seen this trend now that people are putting these barrel-like peep sights in it. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Most of the competitive shooters use them barrels.
But they're putting them in hunting bows.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
I don't
Well,
understand
I guess
that.
they're making their hunting rig and their competition. Like the one guy I follow on YouTube, Chris B. He's sponsored by Matthews. He does all the indoor shoots for him and whatnot. But he has a bow set up that he does like indoor 3D shoots. It'd be like his hunting class 3D, and that's he has his set up for hunting, and he has like the tube peep, and
Gotcha.
like a 12-inch front bar and a 10-inch side bar, and I'm like, it works for him. I mean, that's what he's done, so I'm not gonna knock it. But
Right.
to me, like that long of a stabilizer, I'm like, that's too
I-
long for me.
So Brad says, looks good. Looks and sounds great. Appreciate that, Brad. Appreciate the feedback. Braden, let's get into yours before we get to take a break here, and let's get into your setup
Yep.
on your bow. Let me see if I can't pull that up here and take a look at that.
Yep. So for starters, I have a 2019 Elite Ritual 30. It's the Pure Whitetail Edition bow. So we're partnered up with Pure Whitetail, and whenever they collabed with Elite on that, I love the pattern. Like it was different. The camo pattern was different. I was like, you know what? I'm in the market for a new bow. I've been shooting Elite. I like Elites. So I went with that, and I love it so far. I mean, I've been shooting 32, 33-inch axle, but it's a Ritual 30, but it's actually 30 and a half inches. But it feels in your hand bigger than 30 inches, if you know what I mean. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel short. So I like that. And then I'm running the Apex Gear Double Dot Covert Pro, which I've ran the single dot for I don't even know how long we've been running. We ran the single dots probably around the same time, huh, Steven?
I think so. Yeah.
And then whenever they came out with double dot, I think we both switched over around
Switched
the same
over.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the single. We'll call it a single pin, even though it's a dot. I love the single pin idea. Just you don't get your eye fatigue. You don't lose focus on it. You can focus on one dot. Like I said, the dial on them, they're super simple to operate. I mean, the slider, you can have it half locked, it still slides smoothly. So you don't have to worry about your sight sight sliding up and down
Right.
unintentionally. But I'm running the QAD rest, drop away rest. Like I said, I've ran QAD drop aways for as long as I can remember, and I just love them. I know you're not too big on them, but you know what I mean. It's all preference.
It's all preference.
You've shot ripcord your whole life. I've shot QAD. Not that there's anything wrong with either of them.
Well, I've shot. Well, I'll get into it, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean that's just what I run. I like them. I haven't, mainly because I haven't had any issues with it. You know what I mean? Nothing's failed on me, so why switch up if it's not failing?
Just don't broke.
And
Don't
then-
fix it.
Yep. And then I have a 5-arrow tree limb quiver on there. It's a nice quiver. It's lightweight, so it doesn't pack a lot of weight, but it's just not. I'm gonna switch it up this year. I'm not sure what I'm probably gonna go red line, but it's just not. To me, I don't. I'm losing weight, so it's lighter weight, but I also don't feel it's
Yeah.
as well built as it should be. You know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
feels fragile. And then I run a front and sidebar. Those are Wickstick stabilizers. I run an 8-inch front and a 6-inch sidebar. Mainly, the sidebar helps counterweight if I'm hunting with my quiver on and whatnot, but you can add weights to the front and back. And like I said, I've ran a front and sidebar for years now, so I'm not going to change it up. And then I have my, it's hard to see in the picture, but I have my Tacticam mounted toward the end of my front stabilizer to get some footage from that angle. And then, like Jake, I'm running the Element Quakes, and they're tipped with Thorn broadheads. And then not pictured there, but I run Nocturnal lighted Nox then.
Nice. Yeah, I think. Well, I'll get into it. I don't want to get into it right now because if I get into it right now, we're never going to take this last break that we got to take. So I'll wait till after we get back from the break and we'll get into what I was going to say. So stay with us. We'll be right back right after this. All right, we're back here, and again, we appreciate those guys. What we're gonna do, I'll pull up my bow here. If for some stupid reason, I don't know, it's sitting the right way here on there, but in my preview, it's not sitting the right way. So I don't know how that goes. But anyways, before we get into some of the other discussion I was gonna add on to with the QAD, I just picked this up. I was shooting it at Triax, and I do have a Triax as my backup bow. I guess I should have taken a picture of it, but I didn't. I just picked up the V3X. I pretty much have it decked out with everything Matthews except for the sight and the drop away rest. I even got the cool new stand that's on the bottom. You guys, if you watched this or listened to this a couple weeks ago, I kind of went through all that, so I won't spend a lot of time with that. But what I was going to say was with the quiver, I'm really debating with the integrate and the dovetail drop away. I'm really thinking, I'm running ripcord. I'm really thinking about getting a QAD dovetail drop away so I can really use the feature of the bow.
Right.
I had QAD back when I had my Charger, and what happened was the bearings inside seized on me, and it had to be repacked with grease. It just wouldn't drop. But
Right.
I've also seen that happen with ripcord. In fact, it happened to my brother when we were getting his bow and stuff set up. I left them in the cases. They're always in the cases, but if you don't have any kind of the silicone, you ever get those things with the little silicone in it, the little pouches?
Yeah, it says do not eat.
Yeah, don't eat them, Jake. Don't eat them. Take them and throw them in your bow case, and it'll absorb the moisture. My bow tech was telling me about that, and they also sell ones that you can put in there, because what happens is it started to oxidize my drop away rest, and so after my brother, like, I kept hearing this whack every time he was shooting it, and we thought it was the arrow. Hey, what's going on, Juan? We see you there in the chat room. What happened was it was seizing, and so every other shot he was taking, it would just the rest would not drop. So I started pulling on the string, and I could not get it to drop. So the Bowtech took it apart, cleaned all the oxidation off, and that's when he was telling me about that. So any of you guys, if you're storing them in a case, like in the garage, my garage doesn't get super cold, but it does get cold in there. Because obviously I put the TV in there. That's one that we had in the house here when we moved in. But I didn't know that, so I'm really thinking about getting that. And I have like they were saying there, the Apex gear. Braden was saying I have the 2-dot sight the same as his, or I really like that as opposed to the pin, because you can actually you don't see the pin part of it. You just see the dot in the center, and you can see all around
Basically it. Like a red dot scope.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I shoot with both eyes open, so it makes it easier for me. I used to shoot an 8-inch stabilizer, and I went back down to a 6, and it just seems more balanced with that, at least for me. But I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this, because I keep saying this to the Bowtech. I'm like, I'm probably going to buy that $350, what is it, True Ball, or Axel makes it, or whatever, for Matthews, and then get the QAD rest for it. And he's like, you don't need it. Because I want to see what it's like to have everything centered. Maybe it's not going to make a big difference. Do you guys think I should do it? What do you think?
Hashtag impulse buy?
Well, it's probably going to be a hashtag impulse. I don't need it. No, I do want your answer. And anybody in the chat room, that if you're hunting and stuff, I do want the answer, because that's an additional, going to be like $500, $350 for the site, and maybe $150 for this rest.
If I had that bow pictured right there, 100% I would do it.
Yeah.
Just for study purposes, you know what I mean? Like, obviously Matthews had something going on in their minds whenever they came out with an integrated dovetail sleeve and for the rest. So, I mean, yeah, ultimately it's going to make it more centered, so it'll probably make it more balanced.
Wow. So that's
will you notice it that much? I don't know. Like I said, I've never. You'll be able to tell us that whenever you buy it, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I like how he says that. Whenever you buy it.
Yeah, like I said, you might not notice a crazy amount of difference, but at the same time, your whole bow setup will be more neat and less things to worry about. Maybe like breaking a bolt off like you could on your regular sight you have on now or something. You know what I mean?
So here's this is what's kept me from buying that sight. It's a 5-pin.
Okay.
The optics glow really well on it, but it's a 5-pin.
So here's what you need to do. You buy the actual dovetail, and then you get the Ultra View, like single dot sight, like the Apex gear.
Yeah, so I'd have to buy a new 2-dot, because mine's not the one with the dovetail on. Mine bolts right to the side.
Right.
Yep. So maybe Apex. Or the other one is Redline them. Maybe they'll come out with something. So that's the only thing that's kind of hindered me, because I'm not going to change the drop away if I'm not going to change the sight.
Right. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
But yeah, I agree. I do know, like, Axel fits in the sleeve for the integrated dovetail sleeve, and I know,
right,
like I was saying earlier, Chris B, I think he helps run Ultra View.
Okay.
And that's what he runs on all of his setups, Ultra View. And like I said, it's the same concept as Apex gear. It's got the single dot.
Yeah.
And then the housing actually like illuminates. It has like an actual light, and that's what lights the housing or the dot up in the sight. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested, just look them up, and you can see that. Then
yeah, send me the link when we're off air, because I'll watch that tonight. But
yeah,
I really like, of all the things on this bow, I love that stand the best, because you can shoot with it on there, and it keeps your cam off the ground. That has been plaguing the industry no matter what bow you have, if you buy one of those
Yep.
limb stands, your cam is always touching the ground.
Well, most of the time, it's the little things that are your favorite things
Ah.
about your stuff.
I know it sounds really ridiculous. People are like, yeah, you buy, a $1,200 bow and that's your favorite thing. But the reality is they really thought of just about everything with this
Yeah.
bow. I mean,
They absolutely did.
incremental differences. I mean, again, if you're going to spend the money, but having the quiver slimmed down right to the side of the bow, I think it's like 6 inches, the total width of it. With the bow, not the quiver by
bow.
itself.
I was like, wait a minute.
The bow and the quiver, yeah, it's about 6
Yeah.
inches. I'll have to double check and measure, but I believe that's what it is. But it almost makes you want to shoot with it on. Now, me, I can't shoot with it on because of the drop away. The drop away being mounted on the side, the arrows touch the drop away, and it's going to interfere with your stuff.
Okay.
So, but to get it to the tree stand, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I didn't spend the $60 to get the little bolt-on pieces that you can hook a rope to it and hook it up. I'll just wrap it through the cams like I've been doing.
Yep.
It's simple.
To hoist it up.
To hoist it up. I know Matthews has their whole thing, and I know some people will be like, well, you went this far, you might as well do that. So, maybe I will, but
You might as well buy that one. You buy the rest in the site.
yeah, I'll have to keep you guys updated.
Just make it a package deal.
Just listen to this, and then we're gonna come on the show. And we're gonna be like, impulse buy, thanks to Brady.
Yep.
Now, it would be interesting to see if you did buy that, if you shot it with its current setup and then shot it with the dovetail, if it actually, if you felt it smoother, you felt it more easier to get on target and stuff, and how it would actually shoot.
Well, it's funny with shooting. And I know you hear this from Matthews every year. It's super dead in the hand. It's super. I'm not going to give those buzzwords like they do. Their marketing people do a good enough job with that.
Yep.
But I will say, balance-wise, from the Triax, this is a 29-inch. The Triax was 28-inch. I know it's only an inch axle to axle. I really don't notice the difference as far as being an inch bigger. Why would you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Where I notice it is, again, I went to a 6-inch stabilizer versus the 8 to get the stabilization that I have right now with the V3X. I had to have an 8-inch stabilizer on my Triax. So the balancing that they did from the Triax, because that's all I can compare it to, is from the Triax
Right.
to the V3X. That's 4 years.
Yep.
The
Mhm.
balance on this thing, and I know that's most important to a lot of people, is your balance, your shock, your hold. I think they did a good job. So
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, from the videos I've watched, I think they nailed it. But I also think if you would get that integrated sight, I was just thinking it'll probably help with vibration and noise.
yeah,
There's less components to vibrate.
and that's the first bow I ever bought. In almost the 10 years I've been archery, hunting and shooting, that wasn't camo. That granite color, it just
Yeah, not
graphite or whatever they call it. I think maybe it's graphite.
Yeah.
It's graphite. I liked it. I wasn't too sold on it. Like that was my first choice, and if they didn't have it, I really wanted the Realtree camo if I was going to get another one.
Right.
But they had it. I was like, "You have it?" They're like, "Yeah, we have it." So
Yeah, so whenever the V3 came out, I was looking into getting that. I shot it and I fell in love with it, but I was just gonna get like the military green or the OD green, whatever they call it, with like black limbs. Just something different.
So that's why I feel like I have to really get to know this bow. Like the Triax was one I was shooting competition. I had an identical bow. I just did the what's the Under Armour camo? Was that the Lost camo? What does Under Armour call their camo?
Like that
Ridge-
Runner stuff.
Yeah.
Ridge Reaper.
Ridge
Runner.
Reaper.
I think it might have been Ridge Reaper.
That's right.
Yeah.
Matthews had the Lost camo.
Yeah, I really like that Under Armour Ridge Reaper.
I have that on that's my Triax that I have.
Yeah,
It was a
I
newer.
love that pattern.
And I wanted to keep it because I had bought that bow probably 8 months after I bought my other one, so it's rather newer, but
Right.
I didn't put a lot of beating in on it in that sense.
Yep.
The other bow was broken in really nice, and I I didn't want, I didn't need I killed a lot of deer with the Matthews Triax with the Lost camo. But my brother ended up putting a new string on it, so it's new string and cable, so it's shooting just like brand new.
Mm-hmm.
But I babied both of them, and but I have that as my backup right now. But I can honestly say when I had the Hoyt Carbon Spider ZT Turbo as my backup to the Triax, oh, it was like night and day shooting two different bows, man. It wasn't like I could put down the V3X and pick up the Triax, and it's it's like, I could tell they're different, but it's not massively different. Where like this Carbon Spider Turbo, I mean, you can't creep on that at all, or you're taking your shoulder out, man. Their back wall is very hard and spongy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just, I don't know. So before we wrap this up, we didn't talk about this. We all talked about the bows here. What kind of releases are you guys using? Jake, what are you using for a release? Are you using wrist? Are you using a thumb release, back tension? What are you using?
So it's the True Ball wrist release. I used to use, excuse me, one of the Walmart releases, and it's just like the trigger style. And it got to the point where the trigger was so worn out because it was, once you click it, it would stay open and not close again. And there's been times that I come at draw, and it would just kind of open on itself mid-draw, so my arrow would just go into the ground. So I switched to the True Ball trigger release, and it has like the the anti-torque on it. So when I pull it back, the head swivels, so I can't like torque it a certain way, which I really like. But my biggest thing is I probably don't shoot the proper way. I know you're supposed to gently squeeze the trigger and let it surprise you, but when I do that, I feel like I shake the whole bow. So when I come to full draw, I get to where I need to go, and I don't punch it, but I mean I'm there, and I squeeze it like I know when it's going to go off because I squeeze it that hard.
But I've seen guys come back and they'll get their fingers up and they'll just kind of, it's almost like they're tearing a paper. They'll just kind of like pull through the you know what I'm saying? Do you ever see that where they just kind of and they don't torque their bow? So
yeah, I've seen that.
Is that what you do, or you just kind of?
I don't pull through. Like I get it to where I need to be. I'm anchored, and I just everything stays straight, and I just hit my finger to set it off. I know a lot of like the back tension releases where you get to that point and it sets itself and you pull the rest of the way and it goes off. I can't do that. I can't do the thumb release. I can't do any of that. Like I want to know when it's going off. That's just my shooting style. I know that's probably not what people say you should do, but I mean that's the way I feel comfortable shooting.
What about you, Braden? What are you using?
So I have a wrist release. It's a TrueFire. I believe it's a hardcore. It's the Half Moon claw. So you hook into it, sort of like same style as like the claws you would have on a thumb release or a tension. But last year I switched over. I used to shoot some thumb releases and tensions. So I recently switched over last year to Stand Perfect's thumb release, and I'm loving everything about it so far. So basically, obviously it has the thumb trigger, but I sort of work it like a hinge release in an aspect. So like whenever I have my thumb locked over the thumb pad, and then I roll my pinky back to work it like a hinge. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how I shoot that. That way I don't get that target panic, or I try to push it. You know what I mean? Punch it. So I basically just hold it, and then I just let my hand do the rest like a hinge.
Yeah, that's the problem you get into. You get into punching triggers and stuff. So you guys have probably seen it on social media, but that's what I use. I use it's a Carter Wise Choice thumb release. Since I went to this, it is an expensive release. I didn't want to spend it because originally I had the TrueFire 4-finger one that my wife sent into our fireplace, and it exploded when we were using the AccuBow because I was trying to have her figure out if she would like a thumb release. She didn't realize that you had to push the trigger, and she let go of the release, and it went flying, and it smashed it. So when I was supposed to be shooting League the next day, and I went in, and our Bowtech was like, "Here, you can use mine." This was the one he had, and he had it all dialed in. So I go out there, and I'm shooting with Floyd, and we're walking around, and I'm like, "I really like this release." And I'm like, "Look at the salesman. Look at how he does this." He's like, "Here, just use my release. It's all good."
Yeah.
Go out and use it, and I come back, and I'm like, "All right, I want one of these." And $250 later, I have this thing. But I'll tell you, it's solid. I don't have any problems with it. I haven't had it break. It's a 3-finger, so I don't know. I really like it. I like it better than the wrist release. I feel it's more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But everybody has their preference. My wife has the Eva Shockey TrueFire one that has like a hook. It's the wrist strap like you use, Jake, but it has a hook instead. And she likes that one. It's, I guess, maybe because it's made for women. I don't know, but
yeah, no, I like my release because it's kind of the same style as my old one, where it has like the teeth that come together.
Yeah.
But as soon as you hit it, it doesn't stay open; it closes again.
Right. Some of them you have to push them closed. Like I think Daniels you have to push closed.
Yeah, that's how my old style was. But like I said, I just like how it's.
I just
You
sent
just
my
hit
release
it
in
and-
the group chat then, Steven.
Did you? Okay, let me
You hit it and it's back to reset, and you just pull it back to go again. But
yeah, Stan. I really like Stan's stuff too. I'm gonna pull this up here real quick, and yeah, I like that flexible end on the side. Like if you want.
Yeah, so those are actually inserts for your fingers. They make like
Okay.
a 2 or a 1 finger, so you can swap them in and out. And then the thumb button, they actually make a thinner barrel.
I like the bigger
thicker-
barrel.
Yeah, I like the bigger barrel as well. So
I like to get
I
meat
can
on
always
it.
feel my thumb. Yeah.
Yes, especially with gloves on.
Yep.
Thin one, you can't feel it, and it's just
now, how sensitive are they? I never shot one. So
depends
I'm
on how you
curious.
set it.
Yep.
Oh, so there's
You
definitely there's a
adjust- you
sensitivity
adjust
level.
the poundages on them. Mine's
Oh,
super
okay.
sensitive, so
Some guys like it really sensitive. Mine, our Bowtech, he set mine up to what his was because that's what I shot that whole day with it.
right.
So I've just left it at that. I was kind of like, well, it worked for me like that. Now sometimes I punch the trigger, not punch it hard, but I put my finger on it and I just squeeze it like to
Yeah.
get it instead of pulling through like you're supposed to.
And that's mainly why I keep my stuff touchy. Even like on my guns, I have it. It's not a hair trigger, but I don't have it tight, so I don't have the option of punching.
But if you have it too touchy, now you're used to it. I'm saying for me,
Yeah.
if you have it too touchy, what happens is you go back and if you just lay your thumb on it,
Yep, it goes off.
it just goes off. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've had it already where I've drawn back and I was just getting set. I just kind of went like this. And as I did it, I pulled through the shot and it went off. And I was like, what? It was funny. It went over one 3D target and hit the next one behind it. So I didn't lose it or anything, but I was just kind of getting, you know how like you settle into the shot.
Yep.
Mhm.
That was the only bad part that we had. But
Yeah, I have mine set up where I can put my thumb on it and get a feel for the ridges. That way I know I'm on it, but it's not much after that it goes off.
now,
Like I said, I shoot my bow the same way I shoot my gun. They always say the element of surprise is the way to shoot, so that's how I shoot.
new every. I was gonna say new every season, but no. Have you guys ever used? And we'll wrap up here. Have you guys ever used my Bowtech? Dan, he has one. The release. I don't know if it's Stan that makes it. I think it is. But it's like a thumb release, but you hold it in as you're drawing, and when you get back anchored, that's when you let go of it. And
back tension.
yeah, but it's not a back. I don't know if it's back tension because back tension doesn't have a trigger where you just get back and you just kind of keep pulling and pulling and pulling. This one actually you're holding like the button is a trigger, but it works the opposite way. So you hold it down until you get back, and then you let go and it goes off.
Okay, so the one
Oh,
That would
back
mess
tension
me up.
I shot, it was called the Silverback. Knock on made it, I believe, and your thumb was your safety. It was a back tension, but your thumb was your safety. So once you got the full draw,
Oh, maybe his is
you
like that.
you held it until, say, the deer was walking up. You held it until you were ready to shoot. Then you, basically your safety. Once you let your thumb off of it, the safety went off.
Then you
and
pull
once
through
you
it.
were anchored, then you just pulled through it.
Gotcha.
So that, if it's the same style, it might be different, but that Silverback that I shot, that's how it was. That the thumb pin was your safety mechanism.
You
That
you
way,
might be right on that. I'll have
that
to
way,
check.
whenever you're drawing, like, you know how it is, like, once you hit that rollback, that initial jerk back on some bows, it would set it off.
Yeah.
Like you were trying to release it.
Right. Well, either way, guys, we're gonna wrap this up, but we have a lot of topics that we're gonna cover. If you guys want a specific topic, send us a message, leave a comment below in the comment section on YouTube, and let us know what subjects you want us to cover here, or just talk about, or even some of the companies to bring on. Again, this is just meant to be a fun way that we could all enjoy what we do in the outdoors. We are no experts by any means, but we have fun with what we do, and maybe we can pass some information on to you guys that maybe you didn't know. So with that, Braden Pennington, Instagram.com/Braden07. You can see a lot of his new photography skills that he's always had photography skills, but with his new camera. Because you won't see him fishing. You'll just see him shooting his
You'll
picture.
see me fishing Saturday. Hopefully.
Hopefully. And then Jake Oxenford, Instagram.com/OxenChevy, and you guys can see all his goats and all the other things that his wife's going to make him do in the
Yeah.
yard.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh, I'm sure. And he's got a baby coming up. That's making things easier. And guys, you could check out NoBoundariesOutdoors.com. You can also check me out on Instagram, Instagram.com/NBOSteven. And make sure you guys check out all the different sponsors that we showed today, because we use their stuff. We like their stuff. And there's a reason that we use their stuff. So it's a great opportunity. If you have any questions on that stuff, hit us up. We're all happy to answer you why we like it, don't like it. We don't use everything that all the companies offer, but there are certain things that we use that we really like, and we stick with that. So, guys, we'll see you next week for more Stories from the Cabin with No Boundaries Outdoors. Have a good night.